Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Rajana Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopishana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Rajana Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Govardhana Dari, Radha Govardhana Dari, Sri Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Giri Govardhana, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Giri Govardhana. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parivaragacharya Stotra Satasi Srimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parivaragacharya Stotra Satasi Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kochi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vatsaji Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinatha Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki jai, Shri Vrindam Dhama ki jai, Shri Navadip Mayapur Dhama ki jai, Shri Shakanathpur Dhama ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Shri Yamuna Mai ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana Jagya ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Guru Sri Gauranga. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 27. Understanding material nature. Today the first verse. And also today is appearance day of Madhvacharya. You can speak something. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Bhagavam Uvacha Prakritistopi Purusho Najyate Prakritair Gunai Avikarada Kartritvam Nirgunatvajalarkavat. Sri Bhagavam Uvacha Prakritistopi Purusho Najyate Prakritai Gunai Nirgun Avikarada Kartritvam Nirgunatvajalarkavat. Once more. Shri Bhagavam Uvacha Prakritistopi Purusho Najyate Prakritair Gunai Avikarada Kartritvam Nirgunatvajalarkavat. Bhagavam Uvacha Itastoti Purusho Ayate Pratir Gunai Avikarada Kartitvam Nirgunatvajalarkavat. Lady. Ishitoshi Purusho Ladies. Najati Prakritash Gunai Vikarada Kartitvam Nigunatajalatvat. Bhagavam Vacha Ikitoti Puruso Vikarada Kartitva. Now the translation, the words. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha, the personality of God has said, Prakritista, reside in the material body, Api, although, Purusha, the living entity, Na, not, Asyati, is affected, Prakritai, of material nature, Gunai, by the modes, Avikarat, from being without change, Akartritvat, by freedom from proprietorship, Nirgunatvat, for being unaffected by the qualities of material nature, Jala, Omota, Arkavat, like the sun. Translation. The personality of God, Kapila, continued, when the living entity is thus unaffected by the modes of material nature, because he is unchanging and does not claim proprietorship, he remains apart from the reactions of the moods, although abiding in the material body, just as the sun remains aloof from its reflection on water. Let's repeat. The personality of God, Kapila, continued. When the living entity is thus unaffected by the modes of material nature, because he is unchanging and does not claim proprietorship, he remains apart from the reactions of the modes. Although abiding in a material body, just as the sun remains aloof from its reflection on water. Now the purport given by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. In the previous chapter, Lord Kapila Deva has concluded that simply by beginning the discharge of devotional service, one can attain detachment and transcendental knowledge for understanding the science of God. Here the same principle is confirmed. A person who is detached from the modes of material nature remains just like the sun reflects on water. When the sun is reflected on water, the movement of the water or the coolness or unsteadiness of the water cannot affect the sun. Similarly, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita, this is in Srimad Bhagavatam 127. When one is engaged fully in the activities of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga, he becomes just like the sun reflects on water. Although the devotee appears to be in the material world, actually he is in the transcendental world. As the reflections of sun appears to be on the water, but it's many millions of miles away from the water. So one engaged in bhakti yoga processes nirguna, or unaffected by the qualities of material nature. Avikara means without change. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that each and every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And thus his eternal position is to cooperate or to dovetail his energy with the Supreme Lord. That is his unchanging position. As soon as he employs his energy and activities for sense gratification, this change of position is called vikara. Similarly, even in this material world, when he practices devotional service under the directions of the spiritual master, he comes to the position which is without change, because that is his natural duty. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, liberation means reinstatement of one's original position. The original position is one of rendering service to the Lord, bhakti yogena, bhaktya. When one is becoming detached from material attraction and engages fully in devotional service, that is changelessness, akartritvat, means not doing anything for sense gratification. When one does something at his own risk, there is a sense of proprietorship and therefore a reaction. But when one does everything for Krishna, there is no proprietorship over the activities. By changelessness and by not claiming the proprietorship of activities, one can immediately situate himself in transcendental position, in which one is not touched by the modes of material nature, just as the reflection of the sun is not unaffected by the water. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurumiritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Staptam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Nadachi Swapadam Tikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Bhutapada Kamalam Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitam Sya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Chidamine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Prasharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashachadi Satarine. And then the verse says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakritisto Pipurusho Najyate prakritai gunai avikarada kartitvam nirgunatvat jalarkavat. Translation. The personality of God, Kapila, continued. When the living entity is thus unaffected by the modes of material nature, because of his unchanging, and does not claim proprietorship, he remains apart from the reactions of the moods, although abiding in the material body, just as the sun remains aloof from its reflections on water. And then the point here, Kapila Deva, he says that the situation, the person who is unaffected by the three gunas, like this. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that no one is free from the influence of these three gunas. But there is only one way to be free from that influence. He calls it in chapter 14 chapter. He says, Manchayo avyacharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunam samachityaitam brahmabhuyaya kalpate. If one is engaged seriously without avyabhichara bhakti, it means that performing devotional service without fail. And then Krishna guarantees. Sagunam samapchityaitam. We can transcend the influence of the three modes. Some may think that this could be theoretical, on a utopia like this. But it's practical. For example, now I'm reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you are hearing Shravana Kirtana. It is Bhakti Yoga. And then we are engaged in Bhakti Yoga here. And also the activities in the altar and the Guru Puja, everything is Bhakti Yoga. And then we are full in Bhakti Yoga. And then we can transcend the three modes of nature. Because which mode is now working? Tamoguna? I don't think so. Rajoguna also. Sattva-guna? Maybe. I don't know, because Sattva-guna has something of enjoyment, like this. I go to New Govardhana, like a very nice environment, spiritual, Zen, like this. And then Sattva-guna. But devotees can transcend even this tendency of enjoyment, like this. And then we are sitting on the ground like this, austerities like this. And then this is a transcendental. This is transcendental. We are not affected, at least here, in this moment, by the three modes of nature, like this. And then this is practical. And then Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate, one can achieve the spiritual knowledge, spiritual consciousness. Here also Srila Prabhupada says another verse, he quotes another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. He quotes this verse. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janaya Tyashu Vairagyam Gyanam Chayada Haitukam. This verse is very important. Like if you want to engage in Bhakti Yoga, and then two things occurs, naturally. Janaya Tyashu Vairagyam, Vairagya. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained about raga. Raga and dvesh is how our mind works. Raga, attraction, dvesha, rejection, like this. And then raga, what we like, we become attracted. And then we create attachment, like this. And then vairagya, detached. We are detached. Detachment. like this. Naturally, we become detached from the offerings of this mundane world, like this. No, I'm attracted to Krishna, like this. And this is different. And then this detachment, material detachment. And also, Gyanam Sayada Haitukam. Haitukam means that without cause. Jnana. If you perform devotional service, you have jnana. It means that you will be like one scholar, like this. Jiva Goswami explained about that, because to be a scholar, one has to study a lot. It's not so simple like this. But Jiva Goswami explained what is this jnana, what is this knowledge that a devotee can have, even a simple devotee without so much scholarity like this. He has jnana. Which is this jnana? Jnana, as Jiva Goswami explained, is that you read Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita and you understand like this. Only devotees can do this. One person who is not devoted, he could be very scholar, very intelligent like this, but he reads it, he says, I can't understand what they are saying here, like this. What is these modes of nature? I don't know, like this. You cannot understand. But devotees can read any verse in Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, you understand. This is jnana. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, in 13th chapter, those who knows the very nature of the spiritual soul and the super soul, Paramatma, Krishna says, this is knowledge. This is knowledge. Like this. Who does not know the presence of Paramatma, he cannot understand the nature of the spiritual soul. Which kind of knowledge? This knowledge, material knowledge. But this material knowledge is limited. Like this. And then, what's Srila Prabhupada? Here there is this word nirguna. The personalists like this word. Nirguna Brahman. The supreme, there is no qualities. This is a false conception like this. Even what is it? Okay. It said that there is no substance without qualities. Impossible. This is something abstract. It does not exist. You cannot separate the red of the rose from the rose itself. It's so much. The rose has his qualities, like this. And this philosophy, as a philosophy of Mayavadi, is so without logic. That if, for example, this Nirguna Brahman, they say that the Supreme, there's no qualities. If we give equality to it, like this, Brahman is eternal. Brahman is absolute. Brahman is infinite, like this. Oh, you are giving qualities to this Brahman. This is lower Brahman. They say that there is Nirguna Brahman is Saguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman, Lord Krishna, Radha Krishna, like this. The Supreme with quality. This is not like this. And then this philosophy, Mayavadi philosophy, is for those who does not want to surrender to God. There's the point. I don't want to surrender to God. Okay, that's one philosophy for you, like this. At least you can accept something transcendental. At least. It's not, you are not a gross materialist like this. Okay, like this. But the point is that Jiva Goswami says also, you want to this impersonal liberation. You have to ask to Krishna. Even here in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami says like this. Mukti dadhati kahi chismana bhakti yoga. Krishna can give. Oh, I opened it. Krishna can give the mukti easily, but bhakti yoga is different. Bhakti yoga, you have to be connected with Krishna. You have to understand the bhava of Krishna. It's not so simple like this. Nice. We have to cultivate this, what Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness. You have to Jamma karma chame divyam evam joveti tattvataha. You should to know how is to understand the nature of Krishna, the appearance of Krishna in this world, his activities, his leelas, etc. And then this, and then Srila Prabhupada quotes also one thing, one detail here. It says, let's see what is this point. About the liberation. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, liberation means reinstatement in one's original position. He said, stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he is referring to this verse, Shukadeva Goswami instructing Maharaj Parikshit in 2nd canto, chapter 10. Mukti ritwanyata rupam swarupena vyavastiti. Vaishnava liberation is the permanent situation of the form of living entity after he gives up the changeable, gross and subtle material body. Então diz, Mukti hitvanyata rupam. Mukti means that we be free from this physical and subtle body. And swarupena vyavastiti, you are situated in his own swarupa. This is the swarupa. You don't lose your swarupa like this. But the personalists think that liberation is like a drop of water that falls to the ocean and then is like this, becomes the ocean, like this. Aham Brahman, I'm Brahman, and then become Brahman, like this. No, it's not like this. And also this verse says this nirguna, this situation that is changeable. And Srila Prabhupada, he explained this nirguna, that similarly, when in material world, when he practiced devotional service under direction of spiritual master, he becomes to the position which is without change, because that is his natural duty. Without change. The process of Bhakti Yoga has one characteristic, that as soon as one starts to practice Bhakti Yoga, immediately he defines the ultimate goal. Is it? We accept the words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and I follow these words in Bhagavad Gita, and then my ultimate goal is Krishna. This Prabhupada said, this is the condition that one is not changing. He is fixed. As Rupa Goswami said, Nishta, is fixed in his devotional service. Cannot. As in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vyavasayatmika buddhire keha kurunandana, bahushaka hyanantasha buddhaya, buddhayo vyavasayitam. Those who are in this path of self-realization, they have the focus on the goal. Bahushaka hyanantasha buddhayo vyavasayitam. But if you have this focus in the goal, the supreme goal, you are searching like this. Bahushaka is, his consciousness goes to all the sides like this. And then we cannot realize anything. And then this is concept of nirguna here in this verse. There's nothing about the impersonalistic concept like this. Even the previous chapter, Kapila Muni finished giving the very definition of devotional service, devotion. Okay, and today is appearance day of this the great Acharya, Madhvacharya. He appeared in the 13th century, like this. And he is his philosophy is there is a opposite view of this Mayavad philosophy. This Mayavad philosophy was presented by Shankaracharya, Advaita Vedanta. But the philosophy of Madhvacharya, Dvaita, like this. And then he comes to the opposite side. Advaita, Dvaita. Dualism, like this. He emphasizes our position in relation with the Supreme Lord, like this. And then in this way, he gave very strength to the Vaishnava line, because the conception is that this fusion entre living entity and this supreme being like this. And then he said, no. He says that the Supreme Lord is Swatantra, is absolutely independent. We are Paratantra. We are dependent on him, like this. And then he gave like a strength for these religious views, like this. And then afterward, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu make one synthesis, thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, with the philosophy of Achintya Veda, Abheda. But Madhvacharya is and he fought so heavily against this impersonalism like this. He's one personality is extraordinary, both in physical strength. He's a strong man. I said, like there's one big stone that is craved. Madhvacharya, he lifted this stone like 100 big men cannot lift like this. And also his intellect is powerful, his intellect. It's so powerful. He wrote many books. It said that if that one disciple of him, 100 years after, he rewrote all the books because no one can understand what Madhvacharya wrote. If the original books of Madhvacharya would be for the future, he would be lost because people could not understand. But it was, who is the disciple, I forget. He rewrote all these books, explaining exactly what Madhvacharya wanted to say, like that. And then also one lila, the Madhvacharya, very interesting, was that once he was in Udupi. Udupi is his headquarters. And then he was on the beach, and he saw one boat. And then he knows that there was one sandbank on the ocean, and the boat was going in that direction. And then on the beach, he makes some signs like this to deviate, like this, something like that. And then the owner of the boat, he's coming from Dwarka, bring valuable goods like this to sell in that region. And then the man of the boat said, "Oh, you saved like this. Would be a very big problem for us like that. You can choose anything here as a gift to you." And then there is some valuable things in the boat, but Madhvacharya said, "Oh, I want this block of chandan, this for Tilaka, like this, comes from Dwarka. Yeah? And then one block, say, like this. Because it was in the boat to make weight like this. Like the main, yes, I want this. And inside this block of Chandan, there's one deity, a Krishna deity. There's a deity is worshipped in Udupi. Krishna deity, like this. It's said that this deity, this Krishna deity, was worshipped by Rukmini Devi, like this. But is in Udupi is very nicely worshipped, this deity, like this. And then our line, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he connected our line with the line of Madhvacharya. Although there are some difference like this, but we are connected with this line. And then today we can pay this homage to Madhvacharya. Okay? Some questions, some comments like this? I'll be here in okay.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the class. You were saying how this is like a spiritual atmosphere when people are giving class and when Guru Puja is going on. But I know for myself sometimes it can be like definitely different modes are going on. So then how do we understand that it's always a spiritual atmosphere?
Yeah, the mind is like this. Try to be attracted to something outside like this. But you have to do this discipline. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, when the mind and the senses goes and try to be attracted to mundane things, we have to keep and bring again under the control of spiritual intelligence. And then we have to be guided by our intelligence, not by our mind. Because there's one thing that we have to know. The mind, there's no intelligence. And then by intelligence we have to keep under control his mind like this. And then you have to use these instructions like this. Okay? I'll be here during this week. Also I do some programming, Gold Coast, like this. And you have a question?
Maharaj also has articles and essays in his books, introductory to his teachings, and if anyone would like to make a donation to help out the ashram near Rio de Janeiro, that would also be appreciated.
Oh, okay. I brought one book. I wrote several books, but not in English. I wrote so far. I wrote this book in Portuguese language, that in Brazil, and also Spanish language, that my preaching field like this. But I selected 7 articles in English, and I brought this booklet to show you my work, my literary work, like this. And if you can help my preaching activities. In Brazil, we don't have this Indian community. No. which supports the project like that. No, we have ourselves try to do this. And then if you want, you can give some donation. Okay? Thank you very much, President. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.